I'm going to start this off first and foremost with thanks from the bottom of my heart and soul to a couple of groups and one person. The young kids, the younger, not just kids, but the younger generation. And to those people of non-color, white America. Words can't say how grateful I am and we are for you guys taking up our plight, our fight, and making it to where it can't be ignored. Because truly without you, as you've seen, we can't do it without you. And thank you. To Dave Chappelle, you probably have one of the, ain't no probably to it, brother, you have one of the strongest, not that you're ever going to see this, but you have one of the strongest voices in America across the aisle. Thank you for speaking. Your 8 minutes 46 was strong. And I hope you continue to do so. Of course, how you want to do it your way. You can already see that a lot of white America wants their distractions. Sports talk, they're saying, can't we get back to sports? I go to listen to sports talk radio to get away from it. They're uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable now. You've been uncomfortable. You're tired of hearing about this for 2 weeks. We've been tired of dealing with this for 400 years. Sorry if that comes off a little angry. No, not sorry. It's irritating because it hurts. We're hearing words, systemic racism. You're hearing that a lot. Merriam-Webster dictionary doesn't have a definition, but on June 10th, they did say that they are going to be coming out with a definition, a new definition of racism, and systemic will be in it. It's one of those things where you don't have a definition, but you have a good idea of exactly what it means and how it's enacted, even if you're not 100% accurate. Before I can really get to the meat of things, people of color who are Dallas Cowboy fans. Jerry Jones specifically said none of his players will kneel. The Dallas Cowboys are the most financially profitable team in America and one of them in the world. And a lot of brothers and sisters and Latinos, people of color, buy their merchandise. He doesn't like Kaepernick. He doesn't want his players kneeling. So how do you hurt somebody like that, even though he has FU money? How do you get it over to somebody like that you don't, because he won't rock with you, you're not going to rock with him? So, I have a definition, 2 definitions for you. Overt, meaning done or shown openly, plainly or readily apparent. And covert, not openly acknowledged or displayed. Number 45 does both, readily and with great malice. And I want you guys to hold on to that, because when I talk about Tulsa, I'm talking about overt and covert. I saw a sign during all the protests that touched my heart and has been the most succinct sign I have seen maybe in my lifetime. The protester was holding up saying racism is so American that if you protest it, it's almost as if you're protesting America. And that hits the nail square on the head. For whoever created that sign, thank you, because it is truly the best sign I've ever seen. So, systemic racism, holding people back, not just blacks, but all color. We're mostly going to deal with blacks because of the movement right now. I'm going to pronounce this right. Opelousas which is in Washington, Louisiana, on September 28th, 1868, for trying to register to vote with the Democratic Party and subsequently rejected, not allowed to register to vote with this Democratic Party. 300 blacks were subsequently murdered just for having the gall to try to register the vote. This party of white folks were so mad and insulted that these blacks would have the nerve to try to express their right to vote, that they went and killed pretty much every black person in the vicinity that they could find. Look it up. You don't hear about this. You don't hear about this in the history books, but it's there. Opelousas. And they hunted them all down in that area. America seems to, when they're the ones doing the oppressing and the killing, it seems to be okay, especially if it's somebody of color. We're coming up on President Trump stomping for re-election, his bid, and now he's taken up his campaign trail. He's starting it back up on June 19th in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's not trolling people. You're going to hear that he is trolling people, and you're going to hear about the Black Wall Street. And I'm going to give you a little bit of information, and please, I encourage you to look it up. But he's not trolling the black people. He's insulting them. He is pouring salt by the drum in the festering wound that will never heal. And you say, why? Juneteenth, also known, June 19th, 1865, known as Emancipation Day and Freedom Day in the city, started in Galveston, Texas. What it was, 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was enacted, which was signed by Lincoln on September 22nd, 1862, and effective January 1st, 1863. On June 19th, 1865, 2.5 years later, a Union Army marched to Galveston, Texas, to tell the last remaining slaves that they were free, emancipated. Why? Because the word hadn't been told to them that they were freed. And why? If you have a good thing going, why give up your labor? So it took a Union Army to go there. So subsequently, it is a black holiday, little known outside the black community holiday. It's not just in Texas. It's for black people all around. But it started in Texas, Galveston to be exact. So on June 19th, 1865, the last bit of slaves were freed. What does that mean? Well, on June 19th, 2020, 45 is holding a rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The reason why Tulsa, Oklahoma is important to black people, something not taught in the history books. I am almost 49 years old, and it's with regret and some shame that I had no clue about this occurrence until 2 years ago, when a brother from Tulsa hit me to it. And what it was Black Wall Street. It was a town created by a wealthy black man in Greenwood district of Tulsa. And it was created in 1906. On May 31st, 1921, which really is, guess what? 99 years ago, not even a century yet, the Tulsa newspaper reported that a black man attempted to rape a white woman. That subsequently, of course, angered the neighboring white city. rather than wait to find out if true, because, I mean, if she said the accusations, it has to be true, correct? I mean, nobody fabricates anything against these black people at all. Neighboring white town went to Black Wall Street. It was created by a wealthy black man who had purchased 40 acres. 40 acres and a mule is what every indentured servant, upon coming from Europe to America after 7 years of servitude, was supposed to receive. The slaves were considered at the Emancipation Proclamation indentured servants, and that their servitude was over. So when you hear blacks talk about they want their 40 acres and a mule, that's what they're referencing. So anyway, said town, 40 acres, all black, independent, wealthy for the time, affluent. I'm going to give you the numbers because I'm not good enough to remember this. I'm not a great messenger, but hopefully the message won't be lost. It was destroyed after 2 days of rioting, looting, and wanton destruction. After 2 days, the whites had destroyed a town of 35 blocks. They left 300 dead, 800 injured, and 9,000 blacks homeless. This massacre was then labeled the Tulsa Race Riot. Now, when they went and burned down, pretty much raped and pillaged a town, it's okay. But after 400 years of frustration, when we protest and we burn, no raping, but we burn down some things out of frustration, it's un-American. We're terrible people. According to history, that's part of America's history. So back to covert and overt. Number 45 is hosting. Sorry if I'm rambling, people. Like I say, I'm not great at this, but it's the message. Number 45 is stomping in Tulsa, on the very ground where a black town and 300 inhabitants was wiped out. He knows what he's doing. That's not covert. It's only covert if you don't know what happened there. And since they don't teach it, many of you don't know. And I ask you to look it up, because all you're going to be doing is hearing about it in the newspapers, online, how he is trolling. He's not trolling, ladies and gentlemen, as I say this again. He is insulting. He is dividing. He is doing everything he can to overtly give his constituents, his base, the alt-right, the 3%ers, the neo-Nazis, the skinheads. He's saying, hey, let's have a barbecue and celebrate on these grounds. You know, because Tulsa's a great place to have it. No other reason to rally the troops, other than it's just a great place to be, and I'm sure there's many great, fine people there. He's being overt and covert at the same time. We need to know our history. He's not trying to unite us. He wants to divide us. And their whole party, Mitch McConnell, all the rest of them are complicit in not willing to silence him, to rein him in, to just let him do what he wants unchecked, because they're scared of losing their position. They're scared of him calling them out and them having to face his horde. But the tide is turning. The side of the right, and I'm not talking about the right, I'm talking about the righteous, the good people, You guys are on our side this time. And it's making a change. It's making a difference. And we need you to see it for what it is. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. He's a duck. And a lame one at that. We need to get him out the paint. It's not a perfect system, the two-party system, but right now it's all we have. And first and foremost, we need to get him out. We need to get Mitch out. All the protesting in the world is no good if we don't act. And we have to act before they come up and find something shiny and all the diversions to make us lose focus. Please, stay focused. Eyes on the prize. We got to get them out. I've rambled. The messenger's not always the best. But hopefully you find the message is, because my heart's in the right place. And I just want things better, not just for my people, but for everybody. Because many of the younger people see everybody as their people, not just their color. I'm striving for progress, not perfection. Thank you, everybody that's helping in the cause. Until next time, remember the vote, please. Please, please, please. God bless. Peace.